Okay, it is 6:02 p.m. on Wednesday, July 9th. Call the regular board meeting into session. Noting the absence of Brandy Flores and Amanda Hanson. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no guests or recognition. I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of June 11th, 2025 as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Bell? Yes. Missouri?
Yes.
Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Fleckling?
Yes.
Motion carried. I need a motion to approve the July 2025 expenses as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Missouri?
Yes.
Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Fleckling?
Yes.
Bell? Yes. Motion carried.
One thing real quick about that, so it's nice, this is the very last one for the fiscal year, so it's also a nice little cheat sheet. If you look in the far right column, it has a percentage. So at the end of the year, that is the percentage of that budgetary item. Same with your revenue report, that is the percentage of revenue that we received on those individual categories. So even though you'll get a full recap of all of last year's finances, that gives you an idea of where we were, where we spent, where we went over, and a lot of places where we went under.
They're not, you're saying they're not all 100.
They are not all 100. If you find a school district that's all 100s, they're lying.
Creative finance.
Yeah. Okay, next up is the treasurer's report.
All right, I'm gonna do my best Mike Peters, and I don't have glasses, nor do I need them yet. The balance at the Super Now account in First Community Bank and Trust was $7,289,806.55. Outstanding checks as of June 30th were $70,987.22. June payroll carryover was $78,882.89, leaving the adjusted bank balance of $7,139,936.44. Lunch program had $28.14 and 60 cents. Impress fund at $5,000, leaving you a total balance of, total of $7,147,751.04. Investments, which you have a page of, is $5,593,583.30. Lots of fives. Leaving you total balance in all funds as of the end of fiscal year at $12,741,334.34. June receipts were $6,577,666, that is scary, 62 cents. June expenses of $1,118,318.51. Your ed fund has $8,098,916.79. Building fund of $1,714,420.68. Bond and interest, $2,050. Transportation fund, $1,314,832.86. IMRF and ICA at $205,598.18. Working cash, $398,414.10. Tort fund of $438,902.97. Life safety of $568,190.76. June B interest at First Community, it was at 4.18% for a total of $16,468.02. The following disbursements were made to us in June. State aid of $350,871.73. State free lunch of $104.48. School lunch program of $15,463.24. Transportation, special ed transportation of $62,530.86. Special ed private facility of $3,608.11. Regular transportation of $89,852.79. Driver's ed reimbursement, $1,638.56. Special milk, $43.50. Your two big real estate distributions, number 2 was $4,327,221.07. Number 3 is $1,554,010.81. Leaving you with the high water mark for the year.
I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Second. Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Wickling? Yes. Help? Yes. Mazur?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next up is Dr. Caham's staff report.
So we had 6 FOIAs this past month and some change. Most of them were commercial from newspapers for various things. And all were satisfied, well, including the one that's going to be finished tomorrow. They've all been satisfied or will be. Some of the updates around here, plumbing. They have all the toilets installed at the elementary school. They fixed the bathroom that was upstairs, and so now both of those bathrooms are in working order. They've installed all the piping from the boiler room here at the high school all the way to the bathrooms here. You're welcome to go not look in the tunnels. I don't know. You can go look at it still. They're still working on that. They've started installing the actual toilets, and they have finished the closet between the two, repiping all of that. So almost done with all the plumbing through those projects. Patching, if you drive by the junior high, they did do the patching over there. It's not scheduled to be seal coated this year. We're going to definitely seal coat the junior high next year. We might just seal coat the patch itself because you also often want to get those pores filled in. That might be something that we can even have Nathan do. And then we're still waiting to get the updated numbers for the seal coating. Their initial numbers did not include prevailing wage for the seal coating. We wanted to make sure that they gave us the right numbers before we agreed to do that. And then most importantly to our community and our kids, Monday is the start of registration. And so I believe Joe's going to do a soft opening. He just chose some random people to get their codes, I think tomorrow or even Friday, just to make sure that the system is running smoothly, and then everybody will get their stuff on Monday. As always, I like to do videos the next day after board meetings, and so I'll include that in my little YouTube video. Other than that, that's what I got.
The grass looks great at the elementary school.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So-
I had a handful of texts of, oh my God, there's grass.
So I walked over there today, and we'll say it's grass. It's green. So it did take hold. So we're optimistic that it won't be ruined once we remove the barricades. So, yeah, glad to hear that. Is that all? I thought that was a lot. Man.
Next is committee updates. CARS does not meet until August, so I have nothing new. We don't meet over the summer.
For the chamber, I missed the last meeting, the baseball playoffs. But they did the banners, the flag banners, for the holidays, some holidays. And that's all I've got.
I'll do two, because I have one for the booster for Mandy. I have not heard of any meetings from the foundation, the Beecher Education Foundation, so I don't know, maybe, but they haven't emailed since me. For the booster club, they are working on doing some more field improvements with the coaches, like soccer, to see what they need, and I know she's had the AD reach out to the coaches about what their needs are for the school year, so we kind of can plan. We are going to do a turkey trot, kind of like a fun run, one of those things, and co-sponsor it with cross country, since we did the color on the track in the spring. We're going to do like a turkey trot in the fall.
Don't look at me.
We are also and do like the turkeys, it'll be stuff like kids and all that. I don't know. We're on the stages of planning it.
They're fun.
Yeah, we are still seeking more sponsors for the school year. So if anyone knows businesses, And we will once again be asking students if they need community service hours for concession stands at the junior high, starting in their games in September, October, whenever the sports start indoors throughout the year. So got a lot of fun things for the school year.
And for the PTO, they met and looked at where they're going to earmark their funds. Do you want this for the meeting minutes? I've got all their budgets and things. Okay, well, I have them.
Thank you.
So they have $31,940.17, and they have earmarked that all for fiscal year 25-26, and their next meeting will be August 13th.
And for Youth Commission, I've got nothing because I have not attended a meeting yet since I missed the last one. Kid and Pet Parade did seem to be pretty well attended though before the fest. That's all I have.
An extension of the Booster Club and PTO, brand new. Jake was out again. They had some internal hiccups with some medical issues, but he did come out to look at the wall pads at the junior high. He looked at the entire front windows here at the high school, and then for PTO, they asked for him to look at the office windows and then the main entrance windows as well. So he was out here. He's working on some quotes to give us some ideas what those things will cost. So as soon as I know.
Yeah, where did they earmark? They have like $9,000 or something for windows.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let them know. And finance, somebody's going to have to tell me when the finance. Oh, no, this is just liaisons.
Yeah.
I'm worried about
It's
the
actually
finance.
a topic that I will bring up at the
Yeah,
end of the
we'll have to
meeting.
pick a
Yeah,
date.
yep.
I'm very worried because of Country Club Hills. I'm worried now.
I promise I won't lead you astray.
I'm flying first class. I don't care what you say.
She doesn't mean that.
Delete.
Okay, next up is old business. So I need a motion to approve the second reading of Press Plus 118 as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Flickman? Yes. Belt?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Hansel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I need a motion to approve the second reading of Board Policy 5240 as submitted.
Second. Flickman? Yes. Belt?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then I need a motion to approve the second reading of the student handbook updates as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Belt?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Flickman? Yes. Motion carried.
Have you heard anything about Pritzker and the cell phone thing?
No, I've not.
I haven't
not
heard.
heard.
It was for a while and not. I know a couple of states adopted it for next school year.
I do not believe Illinois, it did
They
not.
hadn't yet, but-
I don't think it got out of the vote,
Okay.
so I don't think it's gonna be a thing this year.
I saw a couple states had, and they were sending
Yeah.
out all of their stuff through their district. No smartwatches, tablets, cell phones allowed in the building.
Yeah. So you guys do have a policy that includes cell phone usage. You guys did that last year.
Yeah, on non-academic times.
Right, so, but no, there's nothing official that he signed.
Okey-dokey. We do not have a need for an executive session unless someone has one. Nope, okay. So then moving on to new business. Does anybody need the employment separated out?
To be fair, they're both resignations, so it's an acknowledgement.
I just always ask it just to do
It's a
it.
good habit for her.
It's a good habit. Okay.
You can vote no, they're still in.
So it's so strange. It's very tight.
I need a motion to acknowledge the resignation of Jillian Hawk as high school PE health driver's ed teacher and Steve June as a full-time bus driver.
So moved.
Second. Hansel?
Yes.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Flickman? Yes. Belt?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then the citywide, is that what we used last year?
Yeah, So what's different about this year, actually Ms. Flickling asked about it, it's a great question. This is cheaper than last year. We actually were able to drop the junior high off of citywide because of the hire you guys have with Dennis, and we're able to reallocate one of our other custodians to the junior high. So our junior high is going to be back into our hands, and so just the elementary school.
So I need a motion to approve the Beecher Elementary School citywide janitorial agreement for fiscal year '26 for $7,046 per month.
So moved.
Second.
DeChenko?
Yes.
Flickling? Yes. Belt?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Cancel.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the fiscal year '26 budget. We are making a motion to approve it because it needs posted before our next meeting, and it wasn't quite ready for today's meeting.
So you're not approving the budget. You're acknowledging that before August 7th is going to be in the newspaper. So that's why I needed to talk about this. We need to have a finance meeting before then. The reason I'm not comfortable giving you guys that yet is because we still need to wait for the state to give us the numbers for EBF and BPRT. Again, I can do a projection, but I don't still know what tier we are, whether it's 1 or 2 with the referendum. My inkling is we're right on the borderline. We're right on the cusp of the 2. We're either very, very close to being into 2 or we're just into 2. And that will affect the amount of money that EBF will provide us. So as soon as I have those numbers, I will let you guys know that. Everything else, in terms of the expenditures, we already have all of that taken care of. So this is just letting you know that the plan is to get it posted in the newspaper by the 7th, which will allow you to actually have I'll present it to you guys the August meeting, just so you see it. And then September would be the formal approval of it.
So when are you looking to do a finance meeting? I mean, as close to the 7th as possible, since you still don't have your numbers you need yet, or is that too close?
Well, to get it into the newspaper, the Vedette is the one that carries it, that's on a Thursday. We need to have it to them by,
The 31st?
No later than the Monday before you want it, preferably the Friday before.
So
Okay.
the 1st of August.
so the 1st of August. So that week, I don't know, I'm going into July, that's stupid fun.
No, end of July,
It's July 20th.
So yeah, so,
but you're gone.
right, I'm going the 20, I love my phone. We could do the 31st, and one way or another, I mean, I assume I'll have EBF by then, but if I don't, we can.
You're still gonna have to put projections in, because it's
Correct.
gotta be something.
We can put the
for
projections
posting.
in, and anything that you do is always preliminary. It's the proposed budget. So just because on September 14th it's posted there's 30 days where it's in hiatus. You can come, you can observe, you can look at it. It's not until you officially approve it in September that those numbers are really nailed down in concrete. And those EBF numbers normally come out in July. Sometimes it's pushed into August, depends on when they get the budget done. So I also know Dr. Hensel, you're retired, and my other 2 of his members are teachers, so if we want to do earlier, we can do that as well.
Because the 31st, it's Prairie State's initial, our inaugural paramedic graduating class, and I'm a speaker for it, and that's on July 31st.
What time is that?
5:30.
So we could have it, if you're.
During the day.
We could have it during the day. You can do it at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, I can.
It's going to be recorded, and be posted automatically, so.
Yeah.
um,
Now, when you do your approval in September, do you have to have a separate meeting, a budget approval meeting right before the board meeting? You do a separate.
Yep, we'll have a budget hearing to start at 6, and then we'll go through everything. We'll close the budget.
Close that
hearing.
meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then you'll have an official vote on it in that September meeting. Ms. Belt, are you here the 31st?
No, but that's okay, I'm not here that whole week, and I told you that, like,
Okay.
I'm free.
I might be here. I have jury duty that week, so.
Then you
Oh.
can get out of it.
Oh my God.
You want
For the
to
fourth time I have jury duty.
Because you only need two,
That's
right?
just served twice.
Or technically even one.
What time I call?
Well,
Two preferably.
two preferably.
I'm sure you can get two.
Well,
Yeah, if I'm not doing it, I will be here.
Okay.
I'll
So what
find out.
time are you wanting on July 31st?
Because,
yeah.
I'm free all day.
Well, it's whatever you want, because you're the
Well,
chair.
I'm doing a little day drinking right before the board meeting.
So how about 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. is
That works.
Okay.
I'll write it down and.
10 a.m.
We'll double check with Ms.
That way you'll be
Don't
done
forget.
before lunch and everything too.
Strike from the
Because we're
record.
having,
Maria, this is live stream. We can't edit as it goes.
we're having a celebratory,
If I'm not at jury duty, I will be there.
Okay.
we are drinking water, of course.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that is,
So 10 a.m., July 31st.
yep, finance meeting.
meeting.
Mhm.
Be there.
For the budget.
The budget. The proposed budget. That's exciting.
And then I know Mandy's on vacation, but she may be able to make it.
Are you on vacation?
Mandy?
She's on vacation that week?
No, this week.
Oh, yes.
So. It might work for her.
That's-
I'll put it in.
Okay, so the August 13th board meeting, items for it, nothing special, right? The budget will be posted, but,
Didn't do your motion and everything.
oh, I forgot, sorry. I didn't check mark it, so I wasn't done. So I need a motion to approve the posting of the fiscal year 26 budget no later than August 7th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Flickman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Hansel,
Yes.
DeChenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up are the discussion of board goals. So I sent everyone, and then Dr. Graham sent everyone the old ones we had. He will use these along with his superintendent committees to kind of make the strategic plan for the next we do 5 years, not 7 years, right? 5 years.
We do it however long it's
Okay.
gonna be beneficial to
Okay.
us.
He is trying to update that, so he will take these and then he will have his subcommittee and then they will kind of come up with all of the components of that, what do I call them? Objectives, yep, objectives and how they will be measured and all that for each year. And then every year we just kind of go and update it, okay, did we achieve this and all that. So as you can see, they are old, from 2018. I would kind of say we kind of stick to the same, like an academic goal, a facility goal, a finance goal, a community engagement. Those kind of seem to cover everything, I feel like. They're also the kind of 4 components that Dr. Gaham gets evaluated on. Once we kind of get these, then next month too, we'll have an executive session. We'll talk about if we, his evaluation tool and his goals and everything like that. So before the year, he also knows what he'll be evaluated on. So we will do that next month. Mandy and Brandy got back with, they kind of agreed that they were pretty much still on par and still kind of worked, maybe just fine tune or tweak them a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at some other board goals and kind of compiled in to update them a little bit. Because we have done quite a bit on facilities since this. So I kind of, we do a long-term facilities and we do a capital improvement plan already. He kind of has that. And every year he kind of goes through, this is what we have to do. We'll have to do in a couple of years, like roofs, all of that. So I thought about maybe putting something in there on that we will, maintain those plans and ensure the safety of the school, because we still have safety in there, and support the learning needs of our students. So it kind of goes on that the functional campus and emphasis on safety.
Yeah. Safe and supportive
Yeah.
learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing.
Okay.
I did the homework today.
For the finances, it kind of says strive to maintain healthy reserves, providing resources necessary to support the goals, and be mindful of the impact of property taxes, what we had before. I kind of saw a lot about transparency, and I think we should have that in there.
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I think something about transparency has to be in
Yeah.
there.
So I kind of thought if we could kind of add transparency, and then being fiscally responsible. I found one I kind of liked the quoting where it said was,
I'm gonna see if you got this.
okay, through transparent operations and best practices, the district will continue to be fiscally responsible while providing the best possible education for all students within the resources available.
Oh, no, I did ensure financial resources are allocated effectively and transparently.
Okay.
See, I'm a very sparse writer.
I like the allocation word.
But yeah, I think transparency has to be in there.
That was the one thing when I saw it didn't have that in there. I was like, I feel like that, yeah. For community engagement, we have the district will engage the community through communication, partnerships, and alumni connectedness. I don't know. We are engaging kind of with our community events and everything. I kind of put that maybe we change engage to strengthen relationships.
Yeah, I had strengthened community engagement.
So I was like, strengthen relationships by involving families, businesses, and community organizations.
Maybe something about the
The people I
the
represent.
people who don't have students in the district. Like either the retired or the littles, where they only have like a 2-year-old. And I don't know how.
Just community then,
I
instead.
think community would be
Yeah.
entire, or put, I think somewhere in the goals, we have to put inclusiveness too, so I don't know if you want to put it in community or under academic. I think there has to be something about inclusiveness. Maybe in the community.
Question, where would communication to
That's community.
families?
So that would be under community relations, so that would be like an objective that would get added.
Okay.
The
That would be-
superintendent and his committees under that.
Something to, I just know like personally, a lot of people have questions about like, and it may sound silly, but like junior high athletes, they don't know where the bus goes. They don't know that they go to the high school to play.
So that would have to be, yeah. like a-
Registration, like those little things,
Yeah.
like when's graduation, like just those little things of however they figure out to improve the communication, to put out as much information, to clarify. Yeah, I just know there's always a lot of questions
Yeah.
about the general transportation, about athletes picking up.
And that would be,
Actually, how about
About that.
the district will develop community inclusivity through communication, partnerships.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So then it uses Marie's buzzword that she likes.
That's my buzzword. It's
Now,
not
write
healthy
it down,
snacks, it's
right?
It represents
Write it down.
inclusivity.
The district will develop community inclusivity.
I literally wrote that word down.
Inclusivity or?
We're all on the same page.
Access, inclusivity, they're
That's
all,
true,
they're all my
because you
favorite
go to all the events,
buzzwords.
and there's a lot of alumni that do come back, or there's people that come to support the kids and all that.
And then academic excellence. I found quite a few things that I liked that it wasn't so much just all about education or college, but it was kind of whatever endeavor or whatever thing that they need to do at the completion
Their
of
future goals.
their
Yeah.
educational program. Because not all of our kids in our district graduate.
Right, right.
So I kind of didn't like anything that had like kind of promoted or graduation in it because that's not all of our students. So I kind of did find some wording where I kind of liked upon the completion of their educational program.
Yes, I like that
So I did like
also.
that one. And then we had the educator.
And I think
right?
something about culturally responsive, something in education. Because as the district becomes more diverse, we have to become more culturally responsive. Actually, you should have called me, we could have done this.
I was a slacker. I did mine today.
What do you think I said? And then I thought too, because I've lived here 50 years, so it is more diverse community, so that we will create a diverse staff that reflects the community, that is reflective of the community. Colleges like that, I'm not sure about, school districts, but I took out good stewards of taxpayer funds because that's a Catholic thing.
And I found something, I like that it said, the district will recruit, develop, and retain staff members who are student-centered, experts in their field, and demonstrate a high degree of professionalism to deliver engaging, rigorous, and aligned continuum of learning for all students, pre-K through high school, to ensure all students maximize their potential and are prepared for any endeavor upon the completion of their educational program. I did like maximize potential
I
other
do
than
like
high
that.
test scores.
That's very
Because
nice.
I was trying to think of all students. Because I know some of the objectives in there will be probably on certain test scores and certain benchmarks
Right,
and certain
right.
data we'll need, but I always try to think of all students. And some of them, their maximum potential isn't a test score or isn't a
Right,
grade
exactly.
grade because that's not their path.
I like the pre-K because we do have the early
Yeah.
childhood program,
Yeah.
and those kids will be,
Yeah.
they're going to
Mhm.
start here, they're going to continue here. Yeah, because then the objectives could be a college-bound kid, a trade-bound kid.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you can
A
go on.
workforce,
Special
you know, we
needs
can.
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
see, being brief and sparse as I am in writing, I put just foster an inclusive learning environment.
I was trying to find a way to tie in the students and
No, I
the
like
staff.
yours. I
At the
like
same
yours.
time, I was like,
Yeah.
how do I get the staff and the students in a kind of one big long sentence?
I kind of left the staff outside teachers. I was one too in my daughter's.
Well, I saw lots of them where that was a separate goal.
That's
of
what
just
I
staff, and I
had.
was like, oh.
But
I was trying to stick to what we originally had, like the four.
I
so
think
it was
these
like-
four
Yeah.
components are,
Mhm.
I like things nice and
Well,
succinct.
One leads to the other. You can recruit and train, continually providing, and then that's an objective, to continually provide best practice professional development.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
but
I
you
tried to
want
think of that too. What could be things that could easily be put as objectives
Yeah,
under
that-
it?
Because you want to attract.
Because that's why I wanted to make sure we included staff in that,
Yeah.
because then we have a spot for PD
Those-
to put, and we
yeah.
have those goals, and we have those
You want to
things that
attract.
could be made.
Attract and retain quality
Yes, and
educators.
train, yeah, and a diverse, yeah.
Because we do have a long retention of our teachers, which is really good.
Yeah, you guys do.
That they're coming and they're sticking around.
Anything else that anyone thinks needs to be added or updated on there?
Well, I think this has probably been addressed as safe and supportive learning environment. But I think under facilities, we have safe, emphasize on safety, and it meets the educational needs, so I think so.
Are you rewriting the facilities goals that you've written? Because I was just blue. This is meets the educational.
Yeah,
and safety
yeah, it has
needs of
emphasis
all
safety, but I
students.
didn't think we kind of need a modern functional campus because we pretty much updated everything.
Yeah, there was some.
And as far as going, like, we're never going to be super modern, we don't have that money, sorry. Especially what, functional is our goal.
Oh, modern is subjective anyway.
Yeah.
Updated. Continually provide updates.
I would just take the
for
whole thing out.
schools.
Functional is all you can ask. And technology is in here somewhere, right? Because we want to ensure technology.
Yeah, but I mean,
Just
there's not
sort
much
of-
left we can do with technology either. We've spent quite a bit of money there. No, don't even say you need anything else.
But that is one of those objectives where we're going to keep up to date where it's appropriate.
Yeah,
To
right,
continually.
Right.
Which goes,
monitor the
that's why I kind of
technology
like when
needs.
it,
Say like we did earlier this year with,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even that.
which I would be, supports the learning needs, because I figured then technology could go under that too.
Yeah,
Correct.
that
It's an objective.
certainly can, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
can put it as an objective, yes.
Is there anything you think that needs stretched out that you know what you,
You all provide me the goals, and I will provide you the catalyst to achieve those.
When we're off video, I'll give some of my real quotes.
Maria, I do like that you use the keyboard as the stand, by the way.
I know. See, Isn't it fun to be with an old person? When you look at 10 things boomers do that make everything, well, I'm one of them.
I can't use the camera, so mine's the pad.
That's
Okay.
I just use it to stand, I
I
can't.
can't remember what it is.
Because it
So
works
I
better. I have to have mine
will-
upright.
Type these up and then send them out.
No, when we go through them, you guys, all the administrative teachers, you guys will actually create the objectives for it?
Yes.
Or we?
No, he
So
has
no.
a committee.
So what I'll do is I'll
Never
develop
done
4
this.
separate committees where we start meeting and talk about, this is the board goal, what are some of the things that you would like to see done, and how can we achieve those goals? How can we make sure it's a safe and functional school district? How can we make sure that, we're creating or developing a community inclusivity, those kind of things.
Especially in things like academic excellence, like, we are not in the building every day, like, they know what they need, and they should be
Yep.
able to say, like, hey, this is where we want to go, we need more, whatever it is, and
So win time was one of the things that spawned out of the first strategic plan, and that's been phenomenal at the elementary.
And it's kind of one of those as they, like, each year we review it, and as we can check mark kind of things off through the years. We don't so much change
Well, that's why I
any of
said
the
we
items
didn't-
on there.
We didn't do it like
As,
this.
yeah, I usually have a goal, like I said, I don't know if it's like 3, 5, 7, it kind of depends what you guys come up with. And then that's kind of, okay, you can't do them all at once.
Right,
So it's
right,
kind of like
Right.
every
That's
year
what I'm
kind of
saying,
what.
like, yeah, what do they, and then they can you guys can prioritize.
Yeah,
what
and it
order.
depends with his committees, how many they come up with, what, maybe they have to dwindle them down to so many. We'll just have to wait and see what you guys come up with. Okay, so I'll type those up, I'll send those out. Items for the August 13th board meeting. Oh, I forgot about those.
You
We don't have to go through
find
them.
it right now.
The board protocols, I printed out that I also emailed them out. This was what we had done at the last board retreat we had in 2023, with IASB, right? I think that's who we got these from, wasn't it?
We probably got them, they weren't at the 2023, they were
They were
at.
the other one, so we
they were at
probably
the
got them from that one.
They were at the one out after I got hired.
Okay. So that's where I'm pretty sure we got these from. And so every time we kind of, since then, when we have our board retreats, we just kind of reaffirm that, yes, this is our expectations and what we will do as board members. It's not so much our policy that kind of has listed also, those kind of things. These were a little more detailed than our board policy. So I printed them off again, and we can reaffirm them tonight when we just update our date on them. I think I've kind of read through, they're all still applicable. Is there anything that anyone saw that maybe isn't applicable, or you would like to add?
Can I make an addition? When you
Yeah.
do public, I know this is always a question that people always have. It's about asking and answering questions and getting info. Something under number 9 about the committee meetings, that is a place where it's going to be the conversation and where questions. I don't think some people always understand, which honestly, if you're not on a board, you probably don't. That these meetings are literally, you make a comment, we take it, and that's it. And then a lot of the stuff that we present are really presentation and voting with a little clarification, but the entire conversation happens at a committee meeting. And that when we have like a, I don't know, finance meeting, that's when we're gonna ask all the questions and kind of pro and con it and have that full discussion and all the questions are asked to get more information or figure that out to present to the board as a recommendation. But that's kind of like, so people understand the difference between a board meeting and a committee meeting. And us too, because as you come new,
I know what you're saying.
if you haven't been to either one, that's something that we all learn as well.
So
as
we
the
could
board
change
members.
it instead of board meetings, public comment, and then have an A, regular session board meetings, a
Correct.
B, committee meetings.
Yes, just to clarify the,
Yeah.
for.
And that's what mostly this is for, because usually we have these every 2 years after you get new members, and that's kind of why we had made it, because as you come as a new member, they're kind of little things you don't even think about, or they're not in there, like, so so they gave it to us, and it seemed like it was pretty good, because you don't ever, I mean, you don't have any, training on social media or anything like that, and, okay, these are the expectations.
Now, when we go to the ICB conference, that's November. And we've been elected.
Yeah. If you go, yeah.
Yeah, if you go. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I can switch that. Anything else? Anything you got?
No, if you guys ever, number 10, school visits, if you ever just want to walk around the buildings, give me a heads up. I will be more than happy to walk, especially during the summer. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of cleaning going on, but at least you can get an idea what the facilities look like. Just let me know. I'm more than willing to walk with anybody around here. Yep. And then number 11.
I love number 11.
You guys have been phenomenal, I will say that. You really, you don't try to aha anybody, you guys don't do that to each other, you don't do it to me. Anytime you email me, I try my very best to get back to you right away with the answer, so, I'll continue to promise to do that, especially when you get the budget. There's a lot of, some of you guys are really good about going through, hey, what is this number, where did this number come from, why is it different than last year, is it more or less? So please ask those questions. It's really difficult when you get to a board meeting and you ask a specific question. If I don't have the answer, then you're gonna sit there and I'm gonna say, well, I'll let you know.
These are good guidelines. Very detailed.
Okay. Upcoming dates, we have our finance meeting on July 31st at 10 a.m. Are there any other committees you need before the next meeting?
I do not. If I do, I will promise to reach out to them.
Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor say aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 6:44.